If you've ever flown on an airplane, you've probably sat just inches away from one of the most important safety features ever designed, without even realizing it. It's not your seatbelt, it's not the oxygen mask, it's a tiny hole hidden inside your airplane window. Almost every passenger has seen it, yet very few people have ever stopped to ask why it's there. Some assume it's a manufacturing defect, others think it's there for ventilation, but the truth is far more fascinating. That tiny hole quietly helps protect millions of passengers every single day, and the reason it exists takes us back to one of the most important engineering lessons in aviation history. Welcome to Waypoint Pulse, where we uncover the hidden stories behind the world around us. If you enjoy learning about science, engineering, history, and the incredible design hidden in everyday objects, don't forget to subscribe to Waypoint Pulse and join us for more fascinating discoveries. So, why does every airplane window have a tiny hole? Let's find out. The first thing to understand is that an airplane window isn't made from a single sheet of glass like the windows in your home. Instead, it's built from 3 separate layers, each with a different purpose. The layer closest to you is the inner pane. Surprisingly, this isn't the part keeping the cabin safe. It's mainly there to protect the window from scratches, fingerprints, and everyday wear caused by passengers. The real work is done by the outer pane. Every time an aircraft climbs to cruising altitude, the air outside becomes incredibly thin, while the cabin remains pressurized so passengers can breathe comfortably. This creates an enormous pressure difference pushing outward on every window throughout the flight. Between these 2 layers sits another pane, and this is where you'll find the tiny hole. At first glance, drilling a hole into an aircraft window might sound like a terrible idea. Surely a solid window would be stronger. But the opposite is true. That tiny opening is called a bleed hole, and it plays a critical role in keeping the aircraft safe. As the cabin becomes pressurized, a small amount of air passes through the bleed hole into the space between the panes. This carefully controls the pressure inside the window assembly, ensuring that almost all of the pressure load remains on the outer pane, which is specifically designed to handle it. The middle pane remains largely free of stress during normal flight, allowing it to act as a fully prepared backup. If the outer pane were ever damaged or cracked, the middle pane would immediately take over, helping maintain cabin pressure until the aircraft could land safely. In other words, that tiny hole helps determine which layer carries the pressure, making the entire window system far safer than a single solid pane ever could. But that's not its only purpose. At cruising altitude, temperatures outside the aircraft can fall to around -50 degrees Celsius. Without the bleed hole, moisture from the warm cabin air could become trapped between the window layers. When that moisture touched the freezing outer pane, condensation and frost would quickly form, making it difficult for passengers to see outside. The bleed hole allows dry cabin air to circulate through the window assembly, reducing moisture and helping keep the window clear throughout the flight. It's such a small feature that most passengers never notice it, yet it performs 2 incredibly important jobs every time an aircraft leaves the ground. The story becomes even more fascinating when we look back at aviation history. During the early 1950s, the Havilland Comet became the world's first commercial jet airliner. It represented the future of air travel, flying higher and faster than any passenger aircraft before it. But within only a few years, several comets suffered catastrophic mid-air breakups that shocked the aviation world. Investigators searched tirelessly for the cause. Eventually, they discovered something unexpected. The engines weren't to blame, neither were the wings. The problem began around the aircraft's windows. Unlike modern airplanes, the Comet used windows with sharp corners instead of the rounded shapes we see today. Every time the aircraft climbed and descended, the cabin pressurized and depressurized. These repeated pressure cycles placed enormous stress on the aircraft's metal skin. Sharp corners concentrated that stress into tiny points, allowing microscopic cracks to form. Over hundreds of flights, those cracks slowly grew until the metal eventually failed, leading to catastrophic structural failure. The disaster forever changed aircraft engineering. Engineers redesigned passenger windows with smooth, rounded corners that spread stress much more evenly, dramatically reducing the chance of fatigue cracks developing. Today, every commercial airliner follows this principle. The rounded shape of the window and the tiny bleed hole both exist for the same reason: to make flying safer. They're small details, but they represent decades of engineering, testing, and lessons learned from the past. The next time you find yourself sitting beside an airplane window at 35,000 feet, take another look at that tiny hole. It isn't a mistake. It isn't a manufacturing defect. It's one of the smartest safety features ever designed, quietly doing its job on every single flight without asking for attention. Sometimes, the greatest engineering achievements aren't the biggest or the most obvious. They're the tiny details that most of us never notice, silently protecting millions of lives every single day. That's exactly what Waypoint Pulse is all about, discovering the incredible stories hidden inside the ordinary things we see every day. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to Waypoint Pulse, give this video a like, and share it with someone who loves discovering how the world really works. And before you go, leave a comment below and tell me, what's another everyday object you've always wondered about? Your suggestion could become our next documentary. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Waypoint Pulse.